Ever tried, ever failed, no matter what. Try again, fail again, fail better. If my mother ever heard this quote, she would think, what in the world is this nonsense? And I know a lot of Africans will be here, what? Fail better? You must have lost your damn mind. But in a sense, it's true. Fail better, what does that mean? Isn't the whole point to succeed? And it's true. In terms of failure or failing, there is a negative connotation to it. I think when you are brought up the way I was brought up, failure wasn't an option. In terms of the road was expected to be smooth, and in terms of if you failed, you would automatically have this negative connotation. In terms of ourselves, you get your ass whooped for failing. You don't get that pep talk saying, yeah, do better. It was more in the sense like, why the hell did you fail in the first place? And I think that negative connotation does affect you when you grow up, or in terms of how you see failure. I think now looking at it, I think failure can be seen in so many different ways, and I'll explain it in this video. So when we fail, why don't we try again? I think when looking at failure or looking at this question, you can look at different sides. And I think the sides that you can look at are, for example, motivational speakers. I think motivational speakers will tell you you need failure to succeed, and they're correct. They might be a big bold guy, just strong as hell, bold as hell, shouting, and you're like, yeah, I need this, I believe him, you know what I'm saying? And for the next 2 weeks or a month, you're like, yeah, I believe him. But then when the first obstacle comes into place, you're like, you know what, let me leave it to these type of guys. Like, he's got the strength to handle it. Like, in terms of what he's doing, he can only certain people succeed into this, and you quit. But then you can also look at the other side, which is celebrities, athletes, or influencers that may seem to blow up overnight, but it makes you doubt the idea that you need failure to succeed. And then it makes you question the idea to say maybe failure is just for the unlucky ones. Or maybe it creates this pressure to think, if I don't succeed the first time, maybe it wasn't meant for me. And in a sense, with that, I agree with it. Or I think I have a different view in terms of failure. I think the way I view failure now is that failure is, in a sense, like a mirror being held to yourself. And this mirror questions, are you willing to continue this journey to get to this desired goal or whatever you want? Or are you willing to continue this? It's like a mirror challenging you to say, are you really about this life? Or how hungry, in a sense, are you for this thing? Are you willing to go through all these obstacles to get this desired goal? And in a sense, sometimes when we get this question, like, nope, you know what, you're right, I ain't about this life, I'm gonna quit. And I think that's perfectly fine. I think when looking at failure, or if you're looking to succeed, I think you have to really check yourself to think, is it really worth it? The time and effort on everything that you're going to put in, is it really worth it? Are you willing to do everything in your power to do so? And some of us are not. We're just not. But we create good ideas in our head. We create this beautiful success story in our head. However, when it comes to it, we say, yeah, you know what? Maybe I was dreaming too big, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me relax a little bit. And we start dreaming smaller, because when failure comes into the sense, failure creates this emotion that makes you automatically feel depleted, upset, or like you're a failure, or anything like that. And that's perfectly fine. But I think when you're looking at failure, whatever those emotions are, you need to disregard them, because those are just what is happening now. However, that goal that you set yourself, you're going to get it. It's worth all this. This is just, I'm just going to get back up. And I think, in a sense, the way I can explain it is that when playing games, or in a sense, or video games, or anything like that, that's not in real life. Like, for example, I play FIFA, League of Legends, where in a sense failure is accepted. I accept failure. I may lose a game, and I don't hesitate trying again, and I can continue this continuous loop. However, in real life, failure does feel final, because it attacks your ego, identity, and your future hopes. And it's the fear of judgment, wasted time, or proving to ourselves that maybe we're not good enough, and it makes us quit earlier. And that's okay. And in the sense of that, with all life, it's like a G check of a century. when we are doing this, because you have to factor in so many other factors like people. And I think people are essential, because I think when looking at failure, you are told from an early age, or the way I was taught, failing was not an option. If I failed, I got my ass whooped. And it's not like a pep talk to say, yeah, you know what, go again. It was like, why the hell did you fail in the first place, buddy? And I was like, what the hell? But in the sense of failure is not viewed in good, in a sense. Failure is viewed as bad, and if you fail, in a sense, it feels like that's it. You're judged. People will laugh at you or see you as a failure. And in terms of, they don't see that with this failure, I can go up, I can learn from this mistake, I can continue to do this, I can continue to do that. In terms of what failure, in terms of goals as well, is that failure is something, it's like hope and dreams. Like, many of us fail and then we quit, so we want other people to fail so they can join us in the failure squad. And we're just all waiting, because when the person fails and they continue, you look at them crazy and you're like, wait, I just want them to fail so they can realize or feel the pain that you felt. And it's true, and you just end up becoming a hater. And I think, in a sense, like I said, in games, you keep trying because the rush of finally winning after failure is worth it. But in life, the rush feels so far away that we give up before reaching it. And where I see failure now is that failure isn't just about learning, it's about tolerating the pain long enough to get the reward. And some of us are not willing to tolerate that pain, and that's fine, because later on in the stage of your life, you may be willing to do so. And the anime that made me think about this was Rezero. And when my boy recommended this for me, I was like, what the hell is this? However, I had to pull through, and I liked it. And it made me think in terms of this video because of him. And in terms of what the anime is, it's about an individual named Sobrekan who gets teleported into a different world, fantasy world, in a sense like a video game. So he sees the world like a video game in a sense. However, he's been blessed, or you can say cursed, with the ability to retry after death. And it's, in a sense, it's the ultimate metaphor for failure. It's try again, failure, try again, failure, try again, failure. And it's like an endless loop until, in essence, he gets the desired outcome, and then continues. Then it's a different failure, try again, failure, try again. And in a sense, there's different obstacles that he will face until he gets to his desired realities, or the desired reality that he does want. And this can be individuals dying or himself dying. And in a sense, he's got to fix the timeline, in a sense, or fix it to his desired reality. And I think with this anime, it made me realize, like, damn, this guy is willing to die to get to this certain outcome, or protect the ones that he loves, or saving people. And I'm like, that's a bit crazy. And you see the mental toll of it. I think dying at the end of the day is game over. You won't have the luxury to come back and try again. And in real life, once you go, you can go with your dreams. Like, it's game over. Other than Rezero, he has the ability to come back. However, is any death, or there's so many deaths, is it worth it to save people? In terms of the character, it made me question it. I was like, is it really worth it? However, that made me look in terms of what his goal is. With Sobrekan, he's not just stubborn in a sense, but I mean, the meaning for him, or the meaning he attaches to success, is saving people. And the key difference in terms of real life is that people stop trying when the meaning isn't strong enough to outweigh the pain of failure. And that's true. And I think when looking at this, or looking at the anime, or this, is that Sobrekan is willing to die to get his desired outcome. And in a sense, when we fail, we don't get the ability to die and come back. However, we always get the ability to go again. However, we look at failure and say, you know what, I'm not really about this life, and it's an easy way out. I think fail better, in the sense of the quote that I did say in the beginning, doesn't mean you should be enjoying failing. It means that each time you try again, you can carry out what you learned, and you can get closer to what matters. Success, in a sense, is never guaranteed, but failure isn't the opposite of success. It's just the part of the process of refining yourself. The real challenge is not about avoiding failure, but it's not letting it convince you to stop trying at all. And I think that's what you can learn from this video, or learn from Rezero. Is the meaning, or your meaning, is it strong enough to outweigh the pain of failure? And that's something you gotta ask yourself.